Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the sonnets. Today we've got Sonnet 151, which, forewarning, is perhaps one of the most lewd that we've experienced from him so far. But anyway, Sonnet 151 says, "Love is too young to know what conscience is. Yet, who knows not, conscience is born of love. Then, gentle cheater, urge not my amiss, lest guilty of my faults thy sweet self prove. For, thou betraying me, I do betray my nobler part to my gross body's treason. My soul doth tell my body that he may triumph in love. Flesh stays no farther reason, but rising at thy name doth point out thee as his triumphant prize. Proud of this pride, he is contented thy poor drudge to be, to stand in thy affairs, fall by thy side. No want of conscience, hold it that I call her love, for whose dear love I rise and fall." So, as often happens in Shakespeare, when something sounds like sexual innuendo, it very much is. And this one very much is. And it focuses, this is considered to be part of the Dark Lady series still. And there's themes that we've seen here before, like separation of mind and body. And we know that Shakespeare has been lusting over this Dark Lady who has been awful to him, and she's running around sleeping with all sorts of other people. So there's been these betrayals and this cheating, and he's comparing himself to her other lovers and all that kind of thing. But what he's saying here is like lust and ethics don't really go together, but they sort of also do, or they sort of also should, because it's through loving somebody that we have empathy for them. But what he's saying, he starts out that way, but he's like, that being the case, be careful of what you accuse me of, because you're also potentially guilty of all the same things that you're saying about me. But then he switches into this separation of mind and body, and he says that his mind, his soul, becomes subservient to his physical desires, to his physical lust. And he's talking about his own genitalia as if it's a separate entity, a separate person. So his soul is telling his body that he's gonna get some. So his body responds in exactly that way, and he rises and then falls for the Dark Lady, very much in the rising and falling of male genitalia kind of way. So sort of what he's saying here is, even just the mention of her name, he becomes aroused, and he's so then governed by his physical urges that it doesn't matter that she treats him terribly. He's happy just as long as he gets to sleep with her. That's kind of what it boils down to. So yeah, this one was sort of interesting when I was looking at all the analyses, because I give it a read first, and there's all these references to rising and the body rising and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, that's probably what that means. And then reading all of the analyses and trying to see how everybody, in a very politically correct way, tries to talk about this one, which I also tried in this video. Whether or not I succeeded, I don't know. Leave me a message in the comments. Let me know if I should have been more blunt about it, or if I kept the bluntness at the proper level for this. But yeah, it's interesting to see how this one is addressed in polite academic society, when it's really like, yeah, no, he's talking about his own genitalia and what happens to it at the mention of the Dark Lady. So that's Sonnet 151. I'll see you tomorrow for 152. Mwah.